had the better season, Dak or Russ?
Are we on a
What are you checking for?
Are we on a new show? Because last night I watched The Masked Singer, so I think we got a new show. They punking me or something.
No.
I know we got.
Show.
So
are you wearing a mask?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because you punking me, Skip, baby.
No, this is real.
No, this ain't no real question.
Well, then you better have some ammunition over there to defend
Skip Bayless, it's Russ and it's not even close.
Really?
The Seahawks are not even supposed to be here. Yeah. This was supposed to be a rebuild. Remember, they let Sherman go. They traded Bennett. Cliff Avril had to retire. Cam Chancellor had to retire. Earl Thomas got hurt, I think, third or fourth game of the season. And so when you look at it, there's nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. There isn't anything that Dak Prescott does better than Russell Wilson. Now, you told me, and Jenny, I went home yesterday. I said, you know what? Should I believe Skip Bayless? I'm going to start. I was talking to myself, Jenny. I said, you know what? I'm going to start listening to Skip. I said, he told me that I should put stock in Pro Football Focus when they grade people. He says because they got guys, former NFL, GMs, and all they do is sit around. Shannon, you don't have time to watch games like they do. I said, okay, Skip. I'm gonna put stock in it. Pro Football Focus says, by every metric, that Russell Wilson is better. He threw 13 more touchdowns, 1 fewer interception. He had a better QBR. I don't even use QBR, but better passer rating, yards per attempt. Seattle's offense, 6th in scoring. Cowboys offense, 22nd. Now, I will give Dak this. He did have a little over 400 more yards. Okay. But let me ask you a question, Jenny. Do you feel comfortable saying
Wait, are you talking to Ginny or me?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He's thinking out his thoughts.
Yeah.
You need help?
I'm looking at you.
Okay, help him out.
No. I'm looking at who am I looking at? No.
Help him.
Who am I looking at?
No, you're looking at Ginny.
No, I ain't looking at no Ginny. I'm looking at you.
Yep. You better be.
Yeah. You my nemesis. You.
Yeah, I am your nemesis. Yep.
I feel comfortable in saying that even though Dak threw 99 more passes for 400 more yards, I believe Russell Wilson, if you let Russell Wilson throw those same passes, I believe he can average 4 yards or attempt. I believe he could. So, Skip, when you look at it, and let me ask you a question. Who do you think have the better offensive talent? Zeke, Amari Cooper, and an offensive line. So, given all that, and given what Russ was able to do, and you can't even say record because both of them 10-6. It just so happens Seattle plays in a division. It just so happens that the NFC East is the weakest conference, is the weakest division in the NFC. Given that 10-6 won it, every other division had a 13-3, 13-3. I think Chicago finished 11-5 or 12-4. So with that being said, Russell Wilson, by every metric that you told me to Pro Football Focus, Russell Wilson's ahead. Another thing about Pro Football Focus, Skip, do you know this? I don't know if you know this or not, but they had Zeke graded the 30th running back in all of football.
So thank you for that. I didn't
30th.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even know why, Jen. I don't even know why I brought that up. That's none of my business. Skip, I'm sorry.
So Dak was actually handicapped by Zeke, is what you're talking about?
I'm just saying.
Thank you for that nugget. I appreciate that. That starts to make my case even stronger. appreciate that very much. This is why Dak Prescott had a little better. I'm not going to go he had a way better year because he didn't have a way better. He just had a little better. He didn't have a better. Let me explain this to you.
Okay,
let's start with what you always start with me on. You always discount Dak Prescott. You say he's a product of Ezekiel Elliott, right? And yet, Russell Wilson benefited from the #1 rushing attack in all of pro football. Am I right about that? Seattle led the whole National Football League in rushing. And as a team, back to your point about Zeke, the Dallas Cowboys finished 10th in rushing as a team. So #1 to #10. So wouldn't that be a big advantage for Russell Wilson over Dak? You start with that premise right there. So you're going to benefit greatly because everything you do when you throw the football has opened wide open because you can run it the way nobody can run it in the whole NFL. Am I right?
Because
I'm just using what you taught me.
Because Russell Wilson can run it 25 times better than what Dak Prescott can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting stat, Jenny. So help me out with this. I'll just throw this out. I was going to save it for my denouement conclusion, but I'll just throw this out.
Throw it out.
Dak Prescott rushed for 6 touchdowns. That means he scored 6 with his legs. Guess how many Russell scored with his legs? How about a big goose egg? 0 for Russell Wilson. So Dak had 6 touchdowns running the football. So let's add those on to his total of touchdown passes, right?
Do that.
Okay, so now, obviously, for the first 8 games this year, Dak was really up against it. And you agreed with this because not only did he not have a number one receiver to target, I'm not even sure he had a number two. And the great Shannon Sharpe would always reinforce that same point. You always said, I don't know if they even have a number two out there.
Give you that.
And furthermore, they clearly don't have any obvious tight end target.
Yes,
so there's no.
They got Shannon Jarwin.
Okay, well that's.
They got Shannon Jarwin.
That just happened in the very last regular season game, right? Didn't they just play the last regular season game? I'm talking about the first 8 games. He had nobody to throw to, right?
Yeah.
And the whole year, guess what? Russell Wilson had 2 number ones to throw to.
Really?
He had Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin. You don't think those are number ones? I'll take them any day of the week.
Of course you would.
Because those are tough, get open. Tyler Lockett can get open on anybody. He had 10 touchdowns himself.
Nobody looks at, everybody has to be, somebody has to be the number one receiver. But I don't think anybody looks at Doug Baldwin, looks at Tyler Lockett and says they're number ones in the term, in the sense
well,
of
I don't
Julio,
know.
AB,
No, but
Juju.
they're up there. They're really
good. But you should, so Dak should be disqualified because you said the first 8 games he wasn't very good because he had no one throw to.
He had nobody.
Okay, so that should disqualify him.
Disqualify? No, because now we get to the last 8 games, and now we really qualify him. We, in fact, over-qualify him over Russell Wilson.
How?
Because once Amari joins and you have one target, you just have one number one receiver, all of a sudden, over the last 8 games, Dak Prescott throws for the 4th most yards in the whole National Football League. This is over the last 8 games of the year. And obviously, they go 7-1 over that stretch. And he had the 3rd highest completions of that stretch over those last 8 games. He had the 3rd highest completion percentage. Well, those 3 numbers alone should qualify him as a top 5 performer over the last 8 games of the year.
But unfortunately, the season is 16 games, not just 8.
I'm going to weight these far more heavily. I'm going to value those last 8 games because he finally actually had a target to throw to, and he took them on a run from 3-5 all the way to 10-6.
Do you remember what Seattle started?
That's sensational.
You remember what Seattle started?
Was before then, they were 0-3.
Yeah.
Okay, but that 3-5, that's deep in the season. You're dead in the water. That's after that Tennessee debacle.
How many times? There's only a handful of teams that come back. The Houston Texans did it this year. They were 0-3, come back, won the division. It doesn't happen very often, Skip Bayless.
So what am I supposed to do with these numbers? Dak Prescott averaged 243 yards passing a game.
Yes.
Russell Wilson averaged only 216 yards passing a game?
Yes.
That's not that good.
Right.
What do you always throw at me about Dak Prescott? That 200-yard line.
Yeah.
He can't even throw for 200 yards, right?
He couldn't.
So help me out with this. 7 times this year, Russell Wilson threw for under 200 yards. Only 5 times Dak threw for under 200 yards. So wouldn't that be? Wait. Wouldn't that advantage Dak?
No.
Yeah, I think it's advantage.
What about the touchdown? What about the touchdown, boss?
It's my turn. I think I'm making my case right now.
Go ahead.
So Dak Prescott actually threw for 455 in one game against the arch rival, the defending Super Bowl champ.
How many INTs?
You know what? It's my turn, I think, and
My
you're
bad.
interrupting me again.
I'm
That's
sorry.
455 yards against the defending Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles. Then he also threw for 387. Is that better than 200? I think it is. So 455, 387.
You make it seem like you threw for 200 yards every game. Stop it.
Russell Wilson threw for 300 plus one time, and it was only 339. So Dak had 2 games much higher than Russell Wilson's best game. That's interesting.
Okay.
So let's just do the wins. So in Russell Wilson's 10 wins, he had 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
Yes.
In Dak's 10 wins, he had 17 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. Okay. 20-3 to 17-2. Well, I'd say that's pretty even, right?
No.
Then you throw the 6 rushing touchdowns on top of that to 0 for your guy.
Whoa. Hold on. Did he have those 6? So, you see what you did there, Skip Bayless?
I didn't do anything.
Okay, well, help me out.
So
Skip.
let's do average distance of touchdown pass. Dak's average touchdown pass covered 27 yards. Russell's covered only 18, 27 to 18. So all those 35, they're coming from shorter distances because 1/3 of those 35 came from under 10 yards. He is dinking and dunking touchdown passes. I don't know. I mean, God bless you if you can do it, but you can do it by land or by sea. Which do you do it? And they chose to go by sea.
You know
right?
what, Skip? This is what you done me. I mean, when I came on the show, I think September 6th, 2016 was our first time. And Skip told me, he said, well, Shannon, I didn't play the game. And I didn't break film down like you did, but I'm an eye test guy. He said, my eyes, he said, I've covered this game long enough and I'm an eye test guy. If you got decent eyesight, there's not one person, not even a Cowboy fan, that will tell you Dak Prescott had a better...
How do you know that?
Because I know.
You don't know
because
that.
Even
no Cowboy fan, no respectable Cowboy fan follows you on Twitter.
They should.
I know that.
Because they want the truth.
They want the truth?
Because even the most irrational Cowboy fans, and that's 90% of them,
Okay.
knows that Russell Wilson had a better season. Okay,
Look,
Skip.
Wait, what is the question here? Who's the better quarterback? If we're just doing who's the better overall quarterback, I'll give you Russell Wilson.
No, who had a better
because he actually won a Super Bowl. I give you that.
Okay, Skip.
Right?
Okay.
Can't deny that.
But we're talking about who had the better season this year. Dak did. Dak was the driving force of a team that turned it around. Once you gave him one receiver, he turned it around. And I tried to tell you yesterday, I didn't think Zeke's year this year was that great. I thought it would be much better than it was. Okay?
Okay.
He led the league because no single back gets to carry it as much as he did.